What up, everybody? Pauper MTG coming back at you for some more games of Magic. We've got a spicy brew this time. This is green-blue control aggro.
Yeah, it's like a tempo deck. Just for in the interest of clarity here, this is not originally my idea. I seen a YouTube video actually about it. I subscribed to this dude's channel. It's a Spanish language channel. I can't really remember the name of it off the top of my head, but this is basically his idea. I'll put a link in the description. You guys can check it out if you're into the Spanish language, or maybe it's Portuguese. I'm not sure.
Sure.
Anyway, moving on.
We're all about the Spanish language here at Pauper MTG, though, if you'll recall.
That's true. I actually did modify this a little bit, so I mean, I guess I could say that it's my exclusive copyrighted creation if I felt like it.
Right, absolutely. So starting off with the lands, we got 4 Evolving Wilds. Gets us an island or a forest in this deck. We need both of them, so this is good. We got 1 forest. That's all we need. We don't have a lot of green. We got some islands using the superior Lorwyn Art Islands, as always. And we got 4 Thornwood Walls. This is either an island or a forest, and it gains us 1 life when it comes into play.
Actually, Dan, it's neither an island or a forest. Oh, it's just a land. Okay.
We got 4 Brainstorm, 1 mana, draw 3 cards, put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Draws you a card, gets you some good hand selection. It's good.
Seems good with Evolving Wilds, too.
You're right.
Whoa.
Put cards back that you don't want, and then just shuffle them away.
Keep the ones you do.
Delver of Secrets. This almost needs no explanation. This is probably the best 1 mana cost blue creature in existence. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If it's an instant or sorcery, you transform it into a 3/2 with flying for 1 mana.
You know, I'm not sure, but I actually think this card is played in Legacy to some extent.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that too. Yeah.
Turn 1 3/2 flyer can't be bad.
No. We got 3 Mental Notes. It's an instant. You put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, then you draw a card.
Synergizes well with Brainstorm. Also, Delver of Secrets and Brainstorm is quite the combo. You can just guaranteed flip that thing.
Right. Then we got 4 Preordain. This is 1 mana sorcery, scry 2, then draw a card. I believe we were calling this one the best 1 mana cantrip in the format or something like that.
Yeah, this deck just has a whole lot of sweet cards in it that I don't really play with very often, because generally they're played in the Delver decks that are so reviled.
Right. The
Delver/Delve, the blue-black control, and all that stuff.
Right. Then we got 4 Thought Scour. Target player puts the top 2 cards. I mean, this is basically Mental Note.
Or you can mill your opponent if they have
a
nice Preordain or something to keep them both on top.
Right.
But generally we'll be milling ourselves with this guy.
Right. Then we got 4 Nimble Mongoose. This is a 1/1 with Shroud. It has Threshold. It gets +2/+2 as long as there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard. This is kind of like Delver, but it is less evasive and can't be killed.
Yeah, I mean, it can get targeted by Chainer's Edict or whatever, but what can't?
That's true. So yeah, moving on from the 1 drops, we got 2 drops. Accumulated Knowledge. Draw a card, then draw a card equal to the number of accumulated knowledge in all graveyards. So if your opponent's running accumulated knowledge too, you could draw 8 cards for 2 mana.
Yeah, that would be nuts. I don't think I'd want to get into a fight like that.
That sounds pretty horrifying, actually. But yes, it's a sweet card. It draws you at least 1 card, then it draws you 2 cards, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, if you're drawing 3 cards for 2 mana instant speed, you're probably going to win the game.
You're doing pretty well. I don't know if I'd go that far, but you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Then we got Æther Burst. Return up to X target creatures to their owner's hands, where X is 1 plus the number of cards named Æther Burst in all graveyards as you cast Æther Burst. This is like accumulated knowledge, but for Boomerang instead, or not Boomerang, Unsummon.
Yeah, it's like super Unsummon.
Right.
This card just can win games straight up. It's ridiculous. Like, once you're bouncing 3 creatures a turn and swinging in with like a bunch of Nimble Mongooses, it's like, how do you win?
If your opponent's playing this as well, it becomes much like
once again, don't want to get into a fight like that.
Well, I don't think it really matters at that point, because neither. I mean, if they're playing this style of deck, they're not going to have 7 creatures in play at once.
Nimble Mongoose has Shroud.
Yeah, there you go. It's irrelevant. Then we got Rune Snags. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2, plus an additional 2 for each card named Rune Snag in each graveyard. Once again, if our
accumulated knowledge for mana leak.
it's pretty crazy if our opponent is playing the exact same deck as we are. It just becomes a horrifying nightmare.
Can you imagine the raw powers swinging around? God. But I mean, you catch someone off guard with this thing once, and I mean, you get your small amount of value, and afterwards it just is like better mana leak. I mean, it costs 4 mana to pay for it, then 6. It's like
right. And so many of, I mean, all these synergize really well with like our mill ourselves stuff.
Yeah, and let's bring up Mental Note one more time here. I only have 3 in the deck. Realistically, it should probably be 4, but this is like a $1.50 card now, and I just couldn't really justify paying for it.
Sure.
And also, the original list only ran 3 as well, so I'm just gonna say that is probably right. Yep.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, moving forward.
I mean, it is less versatile than Thought Scour for the same effect.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. We got 4 Counterspell. It's pretty simple. 2 blue, counter target spell. And then we got 3 Werebear. Werebear is a 1/1 for 2.
Bears are back, baby.
It's a mana elf, and it gets +3/+3 when you have Threshold. This game's a 4/4 for 2 after we mill ourselves a certain amount.
Essentially, he's hooting mandrills, but you don't have to like kill your graveyard.
You don't have to hoot.
And you want to have a graveyard for Nimble Mongoose,
right?
And all of your Æther Burst, Rune Snags, and accumulated knowledges.
And Werebears.
And Werebears.
So that's the main deck. Moving on to the sideboard, we got 3 Dispel, counter target instant spell. Comes in control matches probably.
Yeah, mono red too.
Mono red, yeah, that's a good one. Piracy Charm. Choose 1 target creature gains Island Walk until end of turn. Target creature +2/-1 until end of turn, or target player discards a card. Well, why do we have this?
I assume this comes in against... This is a copied sideboard from the other guy.
Okay, sure.
But I would probably put this in against Delver, just because it can screw with their, like... what is it? The Spellstutter Sprites are an early Delver of Secrets, or I can make them discard a card.
Sure.
If they're Hellbent and they draw a card, you can cast this on their upkeep and make them discard.
Okay.
Also, I'd probably bring this in against maybe like tokens in case they have like a Soul Warden or something you might want to kill.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess we'll just
sure
play some games and see if there's any situations where we want this thing.
Right. We can give our Nimble Mongoose Island Walk. Oh.
Oh no.
We got 3 Stormbound Geists. It's a 2/2 with flying for 3. Can only block creatures with flying, and it has Undying. I'm assuming this comes in versus Delver or something like that.
Yeah, this is coming against Delver or any other control matchup, just because he's a good blocker for Delver of Secrets, obviously. And once he's a 3/3, he blocks Spire Golem, and also he eats a Chainer's Edict and comes back even stronger. And
right.
It's just, all in all, a good man.
Pretty good, yeah. We got 4 Moments Peace against heavy aggro decks. This is a double fog for 5 mana. As has been proven in the past, this card can be a huge blowout. It's so good it made Tribal Bears win.
Somehow.
Just a great card. One of the best green sideboard cards you can have, probably.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, against Kiln Fiend, it's just like, oh, Moment's Peace.
Yeah. Good thing I blew my whole hand. Oh. And then the final card, 2 Naturalize, 2 mana, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Pretty standard. Destroys artifacts and enchantments. What's not to love? So yeah, that's the deck. We put things in our graveyard, draw a lot of cards, make cheap, efficient creatures, and do all sorts of crazy shit. What do you think, Rob?
I think this deck is pretty neat. In playtesting, it's been performing pretty well. I mean, the whole 2-color thing can be pretty rough sometimes.
Right.
But,
well, we got essentially 9 green sources.
Yeah, and that's not even counting Werebear.
That's true. I wasn't counting Werebear. Yeah, I mean, we need green. Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I mean, just having lands that come into play tapped is kind of rough against certain matchups. So
right.
I guess we'll run it, see how it goes.
All right. So yeah, that's this deck. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you for matches.